Hello guys, welcome back to ArxangelRC. I'm quite excited today because I want to share with you my initial test of the new 5.8 GHz AKK X2 Ultimate video transmitter, which has a whopping 1200 mW power output option, and that is twice higher than anything else on the market at this size, and it weighs some measly 11 grams including the antenna extension cable. Now, I want to make just a quick deviation to remind you that since I am now doing this full time, I'm pretty much working for you guys and the whole RC community, so whenever you need to buy anything, it would literally mean the world to me if you can think of me and do it through any of the links provided in the video descriptions. Just choose which website you need, click on the link and then go about looking for the items you need. In addition, I have linked most of the parts used on my builds relevant to the specific video, and by following the links to my blog you will also find the full parts list, which is a lot more detailed. A big thank you to all who choose to support me, as that really is what is making all of what I do possible. Let's get back on track now. 1200 milliwatts seemed like a whole of a lot of heat to dissipate from a video transmitter marginally larger than the AKK X1P I had in the clouds up until now, which is only 600 milliwatts. You know, old news. So before I went out to test it, I decided to do a temperature test on the two X2s I got, so I can see what to expect at the field and how hot it can get. I set it up exactly how it will be on the plane, same antenna and powered from a 12-volt source, and measured the temperature. Not surprisingly, both units reached 90 degrees Celsius within 3 minutes at around 27 degree ambient temperatures, which means that if you spend too much time setting up and wasting time at that power level, you could melt something. I guess a wiser option would be to have them set at 25 milliwatts and only switch to 1200 milliwatts right before taking off. They should get enough cooling in the air. Since I am too lazy to do that and will probably forget to change the power output before takeoff, I decided to add a heatsink just like I did for the X1P. Repeating the heat test revealed that the heatsink actually helped dissipate more heat, because now it took 5 minutes for the X2 to reach 90 degrees, and that is 2 minutes more than before. 5 minutes should be plenty for the GPS to get a lock and to get the plane flying. Once in the air, I think overheating will not be an issue even without the heatsink. At the field, the plane was in the air within 4 minutes after powering it on, and that was only because I was delayed by a non-connected aileron. Usually I should be able to get it off the ground within 2 or 3 minutes after power up at the most. So once in the air, I headed in the exact same direction more or less as the last time I flew out to 25 kilometers with the X1P when I was testing the FrSky R9 receiver. The idea was to gain altitude at the same rate, 100 meters for every 1 kilometer of distance, and to fly in the same direction from the same takeoff location, using the same antennas both on the antenna tracker and on the plane, and also having mounted the antenna on the plane the same way as before, so I can keep the same as much of the conditions that allowed me to reach 25 kilometers before. As the kilometers started piling up, I noticed that up to a point my signal was a lot cleaner than it had been with the 600 milliwatt X1P last time, and that continued to around the 20th kilometer. From there on, something weird started happening. At times the image would clear up to the point where it would be almost perfect, as if I was flying 2 or 3 kilometers away from me, and then all of a sudden it would turn quite bad to the point where I could barely see the home arrow and nothing in the corners of the screen. Then a bit later, same thing, perfect image, and then back to worse again. At the time I thought it was something to do with the R9 antennas blocking the video antenna, because when I would turn the plane a bit it would improve and then it would worsen again, but it wasn't until I landed and thought about it that I had an idea of what could have been the reason. Since I fly with 2 helical antennas on the FR632 receiver, one is a homemade 8-turn and the other an IB Crazy 12-turn, and I am outputting the signal from the diversity connector on the receiver, it is actually choosing which antenna to use at any point in time. As far as I've heard, if all things are equal, this receiver tends to have a preference towards one of the antennas, and it will always default to that antenna when RSSI for the two has little difference. At a distance of 25 kilometers, I would reckon the difference in the RSSI between the working and non-working antenna would be very small, so it could be that in this case the RSSI of the good antenna is not high enough for the diversity module to stay on it, so it defaults to the non-working one. This would certainly explain the weird behavior I was getting with it switching from a perfect image to a long-range flyer's worst nightmare. What is important though is that right when it mattered, just before the 27th kilometer, the image cleared up again to show how good it can look like reaching that distance, and then went back to horrid shortly after, so I turned around and headed home. But that was a glimpse of hope that would actually get me to do one very important thing that I have been postponing for quite a while, to actually get up and test all of the directional antennas that I have. Basically, I will put the video transmitter in the 25 milliwatt output option and will fly in the same direction until I lose the video signal, then turn around, replace the antenna on the ground and repeat. On the receiver, I will pick only one of the antenna ports and its corresponding output at the back of the receiver, so I can avoid going through the diversity module and risk it messing up another test. Once I have figured out which of the antennas I have works best, I will use that one to repeat this test, and hopefully then I will be able to reach 30 kilometers and possibly a bit over that, hopefully proving my original estimation that 1200 milliwatts would put me over the 30 kilometer mark, and also proving that this math, a video transmitter output versus distance, all other things being equal, does work in a predictable manner. Yes, I am not completely happy with the results I got this time, but it was more due to a misjudgment on my part than any fault with the gear I was using, so we'll remedy that as soon as possible. In the meantime, you got a taste of what the AKK X2 Ultimate video transmitter can do. I guess the name sort of makes sense now, so it would appear that 1200 milliwatts is not just adding extra heat, there is actually more usable power being output through the antenna, and that is mighty encouraging for us long-range guys and for those with racing copters who will probably opt in for the FX2 Ultimate option, which is designed for them. This will give them the ability to fly around trees and through forests a bit further out, having more power to punch through those leaves and bushes and whatever, which all works up to a better flying experience. Now, if you have found this video useful, please like, share and subscribe if you haven't already, and consider doing the same on Facebook for more regular updates, and also consider supporting me on Patreon. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer to the best of my knowledge. All relevant links are in the video description below, and as already mentioned, using any of them to buy anything from those websites would help support this channel, would allow me to keep doing this, and you will have my endless gratitude. I wish you successful and safe long-range flying, and until next time.